Now we have already seen the print command in our earlier lecture. Now we have printed the integer number, floating point number, boolean, string, right? And also we have printed some variable. Whenever you have created any variable, just give the name of the variable within the print parenthesis, then the variable contents will be displayed. But print actually, it can do much more things. So first of all, we will see in this lecture what are the other things that print command can do. Now, if we want to print several things together, suppose I want to print the color blue, red and green, these three colors together, then what I will write? Print blue, red and green. Immediately you will see that if I just type this command and press shift enter, then you can see that it is basically printing the blue, red and green. Okay, not only that, since you have seen only the blue, green, red, they are all strings. Similarly, you can put number, string, boolean together in a single print command. Like you have given print 85 red and true. Now if we press shift and enter, immediately it will give you the 85 red true. These three things, they are having different data types, isn't it? 85 is an integer, red is a string, true is boolean, but in a single line you can print all of them. Next I will tell you one very important thing about any command. If you want to see the documentation of any command, like over here print command, if you want to see the exact syntax and the documentation, then what I will do, I will go to that particular command and press shift and tab, and then we can see its syntax clearly. Now over here you can see the first thing is value. Value means whatever we want to print. Next comes sep command. Sep command, and also it is given sep equal to space, means it is the default value of the sep command. Now what this sep command do? This sep command, basically it is giving you the separation between the different values. That means whenever you are giving blue, red and green, default sep is space. So whenever I have printed, you can see there are some space printed, blue, red and green, because the default value of sep equal to space. So automatically space comes in between the values that we are going to print. Suppose instead of space I want to give slash, then what I will write? Print blue, red and green, then I will give sep equal to slash within quotes. That means I want all these colors to be separated from each other by slash, and you will see how the output is coming. Just press shift and enter, it will give you the output like this: blue slash red slash green. Or suppose I want to separate 3 values or 4 values by using some dot, then I will write those values with commas like Happy New Year 2025, wish you good luck, and then sep equal to dot. That means full stop I will give in between these values that I am going to print. So you have understood what is sep command in print. It is basically telling you what will be the separating characters of those values that you are going to print in the print command, right? Next comes end option, which means that how print will end the line. Again, end also has got some default value. If nothing is specified, then default value will be there. End has got default value equal to slash end. That means it is a new line character. This is also called that you end up that line with some new line. That means the cursor will go to the next line. Okay, so once that particular command is executed, immediately the cursor will go to the next line. I will tell you with example. Suppose I have written over here, take an umbrella, and then in the next line I have written print as it is raining today. See, over here I have not given any end command, right? That means it will be only taking the default value of end comment. Now what is the default value of end comment? That is /n, that means next line. So take an umbrella will be printed in the first line, and the next line as it is raining today will be printed. But suppose I don't want to print them in separate line, I want to print them in single line. Then what I will do? I will change the default value of end equal to space. That means now if you press shift and enter, it is going to be executed like this, and it will tell you take an umbrella space as it is running today. You can give any end character, just like sep command. So separator command is separating individual values that you are going to print in the same single line, and end command is basically telling you how to end the line, and the default value of sep equal to space and default value of end equal to /n. So you have understood the print command. So whenever you are comfortable with print command, which is the output function in Python, now we are going to study the input function. In many cases we want user input. Suppose I want to know the name of the user who is writing the program, or I want to add two numbers. In that case, we have to take inputs from the users only. User will input two numbers and Python will add them up and give the result back to the user. So in those cases where you need user input, there you have to use input function. So let's start input function. Now see, I have given the variable name as num. Num is the name of the variable. You can choose any variable name. I have given num equals to input, and within bracket I am writing enter your favorite number. Now look at this thing. What is this input? This input is the name of the function that you are using, and num is the name of the variable that you are using, and that is completely your choice what variable name you want to give. Why I have to use this variable? Because whatever user will input, that will be stored in the num variable. Understood? Now, so whatever input user will give, so within bracket I have written enter your favorite number. This is called prompt. That means input function uses a prompt, and that prompt is going to give me enter your favorite number, and immediately I will input my favorite number. Suppose I have written my favorite number is 14. I will write 14. Then num will contain 14. But here is a catch. I will tell you what it is. But before that, remember, just try to find out the usage of input function. That means whatever you are giving within the bracket, that will be printed as a prompt, and whatever input that user will give, that will be stored in the variable. Here I have given the name of the variable as num, right? So whenever I am going to execute this, let me press shift enter. You can see there's enter your favorite number. This prompt has come up, and so cursor is the waiting for user input. Suppose I am writing 14. Okay, so num will contain now this 14, but the catch is that whatever input user is giving, input function will take it as a string. This is very important point that you must remember. That means if I give my number as 14, although I have given the number value as 14, but num will contain that 14 as a string. So how shall I prove it? Type num. This is giving me, it is a string variable. Understood? So you can understand how I am giving input to the Python, and Python will process my inputs and give some result. But before processing, it will store it in a variable. Understand? Suppose another command I want to give, your name is the name of the variable. Input, tell me your name. Then you will give me your name. I will write print hello plus your name plus exclamation marks. Now this your name variable will have the name that you have given to the Python, and hello plus that name plus exclamation will be printed. Here also, if you want to know the data type of your name variable, it will give me this type your name will be equal to string. So that means you can understand whatever input you are giving to the Python, that is always taken as string by the input function. Then you may ask me, how shall I then add two numbers? Because you can't add two string values, right? Suppose I have given two numbers as 14 and 10. Then if 14 is stored as string, 10 is also stored as string by input, then how you are going to add these two numbers? No, you can't do this thing. That means we need to convert the type, because type of the input is string. So we have to convert this type of string to integer, int. So how shall I do it? I will tell you in my next lecture. But for the time being, you know the syntax of input function, and another very important factor, that input function takes everything as string. Okay, so I will conclude my lecture today, but I will continue with this input function in the type conversion lecture in my next class. Okay, so thank you so much.